What's the best way you should approach your diet when you're trying to build muscle? In today's video, I'm going to share practical advice based on the research, on my own personal experiences, my 24 years of experience coaching clients to lose fat and get jacked, and the experiences I'm seeing from other natural lifters on social media. Now, it absolutely blows my mind when I see some coaches out there who are recommending that you take a nice slow and steady approach when it comes to fat loss, to really have patience when you're trying to get lean. Yet these same coaches, when it comes to muscle building, will say that if you're only in a 200 calorie surplus, you're wasting your time, you're spinning your wheels, you need to eat big to get big, even though the muscle building process is so much slower than the fat loss process. When it comes to building muscle, you need to have patience and persistence. Now, looking at the research out there, typically when it comes to research, I take a lot of it with a grain of salt. There's so many limitations to a lot of the studies out there, but most of the studies are in very much correlation with what you're seeing in the real world, in the trenches experiences from our fellow bros. And this study is a great example. They took 39 young elite athletes and put them through a 10-week study where one group consumed a 500 calorie surplus with the goal of gaining almost 1 pound per week, and the other group was just in a very gentle calorie surplus. They were weight training 4 times per week, and what they found at the end of the study, obviously, the group who was in a 500 calorie surplus gained more weight, like 2 to 3 times, like I think it's about 2.5 times more weight than the group who was only in a very gentle calorie surplus. But both groups ended up gaining very close to the same amount of lean body mass. The group who was in that 500 calorie surplus gained just a tiny bit more lean body mass, but again, that doesn't necessarily mean muscle tissue. Lean body mass is a lot of fluids, muscle glycogen, all that kind of good stuff there, not necessarily muscle tissue. So it's very, very close to the same amount of lean body mass that each group gained, but the group who was in the 500 calorie surplus gained much more fat. The group who was in just that very gentle calorie surplus gained like almost no fat at all. So most of their gains was lean body mass, which is a good thing. It's what a lot of us are aiming for here. So the other thing, again, you'll hear oftentimes that when you're in a muscle building phase and you're in a bigger surplus, you're going to get the more fat you're carrying, the stronger you're going to get, even though fat isn't contractile. And this study proves that there's really no benefit to gaining extra body fat when it comes to your performance in the gym. Across the board, it is basically no difference. And you can look at like, I think it's a bench press and one of the pulling movements where basically the group who had that 500 calorie surplus just gained a little bit more strength, but the group who was in just that very gentle calorie surplus actually performed better in the squat. Now here's the big thing. When it came to the group who was in that 500 calorie surplus, remember, these are young elite athletes. Their performance in the sprint and jumping declined, whereas the group who was consuming just a very gentle calorie surplus ended up maintaining basically their performance that they had in those events, just slight little increases in there, nothing really significant. So the research paper concluded that 500 calories is likely too big of a surplus even for young elite athletes. Recommended maybe 200 to 300 calories would be best. Now, this is completely in alignment with all the other evidence that's out there from my own personal experiences as well, the experiences of my clients during the past 24 years, and everything I'm seeing on social media. So when you look at the evidence out there, they basically recommend, or they state that you're going to gain most of your muscle, your genetic potential in that first year of lifting. Then it gets cut in half each year. So year 2, half of what you gain in that first year. Year 3, half of that. Year 4, half of that. After 4 years, maybe 5 years of lifting, you may be looking at gaining 2 to 3 pounds of muscle per year on average, and it's going to keep getting less and less and less the more training experience you have. So the less muscle that you're going to be able to gain if you're in a bigger surplus, most of the weight that you're gaining is going to be fat. So you're much better off having a smaller surplus. When you're younger, have that bigger surplus there. If you want to try 500 calories, then start cutting it down the more years of lifting experience that you have under your belt. When you look at guys like I mentioned recently in a video after I came back from the Arnold Classic, talking with Lane Norton, over 20 years of lifting experience for himself, continuing to get stronger, about to compete in the very near future. I asked him, like, how much muscle have you been gaining in recent years? I think he's 41 years young. And he's like, none. Like, he's in a gentle calorie surplus right now, but just really not gaining any muscle in recent years. Like, he's realistic, saying, you know what, it's it's not even really a game of ounces at this point. And looking at, Paul Carter did a post just recently, I think one of his Instagram stories there, where he's like, basically after 10 years as a natural lifter, done. Like, you're done. Now, I think that's being a little bit too stringent, I guess. I don't know what the right word to use there. I think you can gain more after the past 10 years. I've been gaining a little bit more during the past more than 10 years of lifting experience. I've been lifting for like 34 years at this point and still feel like I'm gaining a little bit of muscle throughout this process. So I think there's still potential. I think we still should be trying to squeeze every little bit of gains out of us, but it's definitely in alignment with what I'm seeing. Even the young bros out there, I did that recent video, keep getting bigger, where I was talking about Alex Leonidas, his video that he put out there, Alpha Destiny. And so he shared like the past 3 years of his bulking and cutting experiences, and he's like, he keeps getting bigger, and he's kind of using how he finishes off the bulk, how he ends up heavier and heavier at the end of each bulk. I think this last one he finished at 204 pounds. Yet every time he's cut down, he's been lighter and lighter. Mind you, looking a little bit bigger. He has gained process. He's gotten leaner and leaner with each of his cuts there. But just this recent cut that he's going through, so he went through bulk from 145, I think is what he finished his last cut. He is about my height, 5'7". The other great thing with that study is that they're young athletes, but about my size. I'm a buck 50 myself. So Alex, currently 153 pounds, finished his last cut 145, got up to 204 pounds, like big. Like when you're gain that much weight, you fill out your clothes better, you take up more space, you look bigger. He's cutting down, he's 153 pounds, kind of looking very close to what he looked like when he's 153 pounds the last time. Maybe he's gained a couple pounds there, maybe 2 to 3 pounds. He's in his mid-20s, been lifting for about 10 years, so I'd say he's getting darn close to his genetic potential, but giving everything that he's got to try to squeeze out every freaking ounce that he can possibly get from his training. And he looks like a freaking monster. He looks incredible right now, but really, like, gaining from 145 pounds to 204 pounds, cutting down, having to go through this long cutting phase just for a couple pounds of muscle, like, is it worth it? I don't know. That's going to be to each their own. You got to decide if that's something you want to put yourself through. It's not for me anymore. I certainly don't want to go through any of that anymore. But again, it's what I'm seeing. Like these young guys going through this bear mode bulking, where they're still taking a slow and steady approach, but gaining like a lot of weight towards the end. So long, lengthy muscle building phases where they're gaining a lot of weight in the process, only to gain like a couple pounds of muscle. Jeff Nippert, another one, went bear mode, and he's in a cut right now, looking like he's going to end up right around the same weight that he was the last time, maybe a tiny bit of muscle. Jeff's in his early 30s. Like, these guys, again, it's young natural lifters, damn close to their genetic potential at this point. But again, don't want to put the brakes, still want to challenge yourself, but a 500 calorie surplus and going bear mode isn't, in my opinion, the way to go about things. Now, my personal experiences, so after I lost that 50 pounds of fat, 36 years young, everyone, like all my colleagues and everything, eat big, Scott. Don't worry about your abs. I know you promised yourself a 6-pack abs for your 36th birthday. Don't be afraid to let them go for right now. Let's focus on building muscle. Get yourself in a 500 calorie surplus, just like this study did, gaining close to a pound per week. So for 7 months, I was in that 500 calorie surplus, gained 30 pounds during that process. Towards the end, definitely, just like this study showed there, like performance, my athletic performance suffered. My strength, same as always. I didn't get any stronger. I didn't get any weaker or anything, but I was skating much slower on the ice. I actually bending down to tie my skates with 30 extra pounds on my frame. I had to like take a deep breath, bend over, like sucking wind, tie my own lace, like 30 extra pounds on me. No fun whatsoever. And so then I cut down. I had to 4 months to lose that 30 pounds of fat, gained about a pound of muscle in the process. I'm like, holy smokes, was it really worth it to get uncomfortable, to see my performance suffer in a lot of what I'm doing throughout my days, my life, just feel kind of full and bloated all the time, not necessarily as confident as I typically feel out on the beach or anything, like not awful or anything like that, but not feel like my best. Wasn't like thriving in all aspects of my life like I'm thriving right now. So I'm like, after that bulk and cut, I'm like, that's a bit too much. So then for the next 4 years, so 4 more muscle building phases, Again, about 7 months in length, I kept it to 20 pounds. So a little bit slower. I reduced my calorie surplus. It's like 300 to 400 calorie surplus there over that time. Gained that 20 pounds. And again, even that 20 pounds, performance suffered on the ice, especially a lot of my athletic movement, just not moving my best like I move. I fly on the ice right now. Okay? I can move out there. But I was definitely not at my best in my athletics out there. But it only took 3 months to cut that down, a nice 12-week cutting phase each and every time. After 4 rounds of that, just getting time, like, God, like another 12-week cutting phase, like, I don't want to do that again. It's just no fun to have to diet for 12 weeks at a time, restrict yourself. And again, each of those times gained about a pound of muscle. So I'm like, okay, I gained about the same amount of muscle gaining 20 pounds as I did 30 pounds. I don't want to gain 20 pounds again. I just don't like that feeling there. So I'm going to keep it to 10 pounds. So then for the next 6 years, actually 5 years, I kept it 6 years within 10 pounds there. So typically around, I allow myself to gain 7, 8-ish, up to upwards close to 10 pounds there. And the great thing is I could do that for 11 months. So instead of just 7 months in a calorie surplus, a gentle, very, very gentle calorie surplus, I went 11 months feeling great, like absolutely thriving, like never over full. My performance is great, not feeling stuffed, not feeling uncomfortable. Athletics is great. Strength is great. And just not having to worry about dieting or anything like that, and looking great. When you're in your 10-pound sweet spot there, you look phenomenal all the freaking time. So that is another great thing, having your confidence high and your performance high, just thriving in all aspects of life. That only takes 4-week mini cut after 11 months of building. So doing that for 5 years, and this past year, the 6th year here, it's been 14 months in that gentle calorie surplus. I'm up 8-ish, almost 9-ish pounds at this point. So I'm going to have to get to a little cutting phase first. But again, 9 pounds heavier, I'm looking still pretty lean, really freaking lean. I would say lean as fuck, but I am still really freaking lean at this point, even though I'm 8 to 9 pounds heavier. I'll go through this mini cut here. I'm probably not going to get quite as lean as I did at the end of the last mini cut. I just kind of find my sweet spots even. I just don't need to get that lean anymore. So I'm already feeling pretty damn good where I'm at right now. So again, spending most of the year feeling incredible, like consuming an adequate amount of calories and not having to spend time dieting. So the time, if you are gaining 20 pounds and 30 pounds, you have to diet for 3 to 4 months or longer. That's time that could be spent building muscle. That's time where your performance isn't going to be at its best in your weight training or anything else that you're doing in life. So it's just, I find, in my personal opinion, not worth it to go through these bulking phases when you're eating big and gaining faster than you really need to. That's, again, my opinion. And what I recommend that you do yourself is you have to go through these experiments. You have to see what's the best calorie surplus for you depending on where you're at in this journey. Like I do recommend, especially for the younger bros, start with that 500 calorie surplus if you want. Gain 20 to 30 pounds. See how it goes for you. Like see how your body responds to that. Then go through a cutting phase and see, well, how much of that was actually muscle. If you're gaining 20 to 30 pounds for 1 to 2 pounds of muscle, to me, that's not a fair trade-off. It's just not necessary, and it's in correlation with what this study is showing. It's not going to, you're basically just gaining, the weight that you're gaining is extra fat. You're not getting any much extra muscle, whereas if you keep a more gentle calorie surplus. So if you do like I did, go gain the 20 to 30 pounds, then maybe drop to 10 pounds during a slower and steady muscle building phase. See how you enjoy that process. You can stay in that muscle building mode for longer, and then only a short little diet phase in order to trim any little excess fat off, and then quickly you're able to get back into muscle building mode. It's all a learning experience. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. It's going to come down to your own personal preferences. If you really enjoy going bare mode and gaining a whole bunch of weight, knowing that it's almost all fat and that you're going to have to spend months dieting it down, but you enjoy that dieting process. Some people just need to see change on the scale in order to feel like they're making progress, even if they're not really making progress. Because like when I've taken this slow and steady approach, 8 to 9 pounds that I've gained during 14 months, gaining less than a pound per month, it's hard to tell from week to week. You just got to trust your nutrition and know that after a couple of months, you're seeing that trend going upwards there. It's a slow and steady trend upwards based on your structured nutrition. So I'm trusting the process. I trust myself. I know that I'm consistent with my nutrition, that I am in a calorie surplus. I am providing my body with enough fuel to grow because the scale weight is going up. I am seeing fat gain happening, so I know I'm consuming more than I actually need to build muscle. So paying attention to all of those signs there. So really it does come down to self-experimentation, but really taking like this research that you're seeing there, 500 calorie surplus is likely too much. So if you're gaining more than a pound per week or around a pound per week, it's likely more than you need. I'd say aiming for half a pound per week is great for a lot of people, 2 pounds per month. If you're a more advanced lifter, more experienced in your training, 1 pound per month, like I aim for most of the time. Actually, now I'm aiming even less than a pound per month. Again, 34 years of lifting experience under my belt, very damn close to my genetic potential. Still trying to do my best to squeeze out every freaking ounce of muscle here. But knowing that from my past experiences, I'm not making this judgment call based on, oh, I need to have abs all the time. I'm making the judgment call on, okay, I've gone through 11 years of building muscle, all these different muscle building phases, from gaining 30 pounds to 20 pounds, 20 pounds, 20 pounds, 20 pounds, and then 10 pounds, 10 pounds, 10 pounds, 10 pounds, 10 pounds, and now about 8 to 9 pounds after 14 months. Like, I know my body, and then coming down and just seeing like the muscle gains are exactly the same no matter how much I gain. It's just extra fat that I'm gaining, and is it worth it? Is it serving me in any way, shape, or form? It's actually hindered me because I love playing hockey. I love sports. I love athletics. So it's not worth it for me to gain more than that 10 pounds during a muscle building phase. And why not take my time doing that in that very gentle calorie surplus so I can feel nourished all the time and thrive all the time? Again, my insights, my opinion, my feedback, based on everything else I'm experiencing, seeing out there from the natural lifters on social media, my own natural lifting clients out there, my natural self, lifetime natural bodybuilder, lifter, all these times, and just hearing from other colleagues as well, just sharing like how difficult it is to build muscle after all these years of lifting experience. So why put yourself through the need to have to diet again? Again, my opinion. Would love to hear what your opinion is. Drop a comment down below to share your thoughts, your insights, your feedback. Can't wait to hear from you on this topic. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you know a fellow bro who would benefit from watching today's video, please do me a favor and share it with them. Before you go, don't forget to download your free guide, Lose Fat, Get Jacked. Have an amazing day. Catch you in the next video.